All right, it is noon. Make sure you also have some water by you to stay hydrated. I'm Carly with Stretch Lab Glenview. We're doing a hip opener class. Stretch Lab is one-on-one assisted stretching. We customize our flexibility programs to meet you, your body, your needs, and whatever you are looking for. Also, like your goals and your lifestyle. We also offer group classes. So this is an example of one of our group classes. And we are going to get started by standing up in the center of our space. So let me make sure, yep. All right. So standing with the feet underneath their hips, let's just start by taking a big shoulder roll. Breathe in, exhale, breathe out. More, breathe in, and exhale, breathe out. We'll just interlace our fingers behind ourselves and open up those shoulders real quick. Really getting into the forearms here. You can slight bend those knees if that feels more comfortable. Breathing is in through the nose and out through the mouth. Making sure we're keeping our shoulders on top of our hips. One more big breath in. One more big breath out. Let's do a little bit of circles with our arms too. We're gonna get those shoulders and those arms a little bit warmed up so that we can use them a little bit easier when we're doing our leg things. So tiny circles forward. And then switching to tiny circles back. And then maybe taking those our circles a little bit bigger. And going the other direction as well. One more time, as big as you can, rolling those shoulders forward, making big arm circles. And one last time, rolling those arms back. All right, the next thing we're going to do, you're going to take your feet slightly wider than your hips, about in line with your shoulders. Forward fold as far as you can go, and then take a squat at the bottom, making sure that you're placing all the weight into your heels. Keeping those hip flexors relaxed. Go back into a forward fold, back into that squat. We're just starting to warm up dynamically. Taking a big breath out as you come up into that squat. Let's take 4 more here. Three. 2 more. One last time, meet me in that squat. Standing on up. Now we're going to do a half hip circles. So you're going to bring your hip up. You might need a wall for this one if you don't have balance on one leg. Bring your leg up so that your knee is in line with your hip. Circling it open and then placing it down on the ground. And then you repeat with the other leg. Keeping those feet flexed or pointed but not relaxed. This is going to start to open up your hips dynamically. Just bringing those legs as far as you can to the side and then bringing them back down. Your hands can be on your hips. You can be relaxed.
Soon, it will be summer. Maybe not the summer you previously imagined, but you full of plans. It's time to move forward, set goals, and think about what you want to accomplish. Summer is all about the degrees. Get your student
We're here for 4 more
Or maybe it's
3,
there are hundreds of options,
2,
including online courses.
and then that last time. All right, next thing you're gonna do is windshield wipers. So you bring your foot out. Let me turn the music down a little bit. You bring your foot out in front of you, and then you drag it along the floor to the side. And then when you swing back in front, you swing across, and then you swing back out to the side. Let me make sure you can see what is going on here. So we drag it in front and then to the side. Really starting to warm up through those adductors and those abductors, which run along the sides of our thighs. Swing side to side. We're here for 4. We'll switch in 3. Last 2. Meet me in the center after this last time. Bringing your left foot out in front of you, or your right foot, whatever one it is. Bring it out to the side. And then dragging it all across the floor so it's across your midline. Out and cross. Out and cross. Placing a bend in that supporting knee if that feels better for you. Cross, out, and across. Still breathing. We're here for 4. Meet me in the center in 3. Last 2. Last time. Meet me with those feet back underneath those hips. Next, we're going to do some curtsy lunges. So you bring your leg directly behind you and then cross it over slightly, like we're in the olden times, and then you do that curtsy. Making sure you're keeping that back knee underneath your hip, and then you stand back up and we switch. Curtsy and up. Making sure you're placing those feet back underneath those hips as you stand back up. You place those hands on your hips. Curtsy and up. Curtsy and up. We're here for 4, 3, 2. Last time, meet me standing tall. Come over to the side of your space. We're going to do a side lunge. So stepping your leg out as long as it will go. Making sure you get those glutes aiming towards the wall behind you. Your body's in a 45-degree angle. You can place those hands to a prayer. Really feeling that side stretch through your adductors here. And then pressing yourself back up to standing. Down and up. Down and up at your own pace. Making sure that you're keeping your neck aligned with the rest of your body too. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. Down and up. Make sure you're going to do about 10 on each side. So for 4, 3, 2, last time. Meet me standing tall. We're going to come on over to the other side of our space. Repeat on the other side. So again, you're going to step that leg out as long as you can behind you. Shoot those glutes back. Make sure your body's in a 45-degree angle. And then stepping back up to center. Down and up. Down and up. Making sure you're still breathing. Relaxing the jaw. Down and up. We're here for 4, 3, 2. We'll stand tall after this last time. Standing tall. All right, we're gonna come down to the ground now. So making sure that you sit down with your legs, sit on your glutes, swing those legs around in front of you. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come into happy baby. So this is a yoga pose, but it's also really good for opening those hips and getting into that groin. So what you're going to do is you're going to lie on the ground, bring those knees into your chest, and then from there you're going to grab onto whatever you can grab onto while you keep your back on the ground. So that means grabbing onto your thighs, your calves, your ankles, or your feet. Again, it doesn't matter as long as you're keeping your back on the ground. Bring those knees down by your chest, and then you can add a rock side to side here. Keeping those feet flexed. Keeping a deep breath. Maybe close your eyes and feel your hips opening up. And if you haven't, try taking that rock from side to side. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and bring those knees into your chest. Bring your right leg long. Let me make sure that I know I can show you properly. All right. So bring that right leg long. Keeping that left leg into your chest. And then you're going to come up and over for a supine twist. We're starting to get into our glutes a little bit here as well, because our glutes and our hips are very connected. So making sure that your knee doesn't necessarily have to be on the ground, but you're aiming to keep your hips stacked, opening up through those shoulders. And this is going to be good for your low back as well as those glutes. The aim is to get your other shoulder on the ground, but if that doesn't happen, that's totally okay. You can keep your gaze up. You can look away from the top leg. And then you can keep your arms long, you can keep them in the goalpost. And then that bottom leg can either stay long or bend. Whatever feels best to you in this moment. Sinking into the floor. Feeling the opening through your chest. Keeping those palms open, ready to catch anything that might motivate you or give you a feeling of positivity. Feeling that twist in your back. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Bringing that leg into your chest and letting it come out long. We're going to switch sides, so bringing the other leg into your chest. And then coming up and over for that supine twist on the other side. Again, let me adjust to my angle here for you. Whatever felt good to you on the other side, whether it was your arms in the goalpost or long. Take that on this side. Giving yourself some nice, big, deep breaths. Breathing. Letting go of everything that is giving you anxiety or that you're thinking about just in this moment of stillness. A big inhale and a big exhale. Bring yourself back to the center. Bring yourself back to the center. Bring both knees into your chest. Place that right leg on the ground. Place your left ankle on top of it, your knee, but on the fleshy part, not on the actual knee itself. Flex your toes. And you can either stay here, if that feels good for you. You can come up onto your arms, or you can interlace your fingers underneath your hamstring, flex the toes of the other foot as well, and stay here. If you choose to be in this position, then you can press out on the inner thigh with that forearm. Getting into that piriformis. So again, opening up through those hips and those glutes. Remembering we want to feel a pull or some tension, but we're not trying to feel pain at all. Keep a slight bend in those elbows if you're here. Keeping your back long on the floor. We're not trying to get our hand underneath our back. So you shouldn't be able to get underneath yourself at any point. Keep flexing through both feet. And another way you can up this is you can, if you're in this position, is that you can take your leg close and pull it closer to your chest. But again, we're not trying to feel any pain at all. We're just trying to get a slight pull, feel some tension.
Daddy?
Huh?
Where's the other flower?
Huh?
Where's the other big flower?
Still breathing.
I might.
Taking a big breath in and big breath out. Placing that foot down and switching it out. So keeping those toes flexed, placing your ankle on the fleshy part of your knee. And then again, if you're here, flexing the other foot and interlacing those fingers behind your hamstring. And then pushing out on that leg with your forearm. Or if that doesn't work for you, sitting up, pressing out, letting gravity pull your knee down. And maybe taking a slight bend in those elbows. And from here, you can rock from side to side. Feeling an opening through those hips. Getting into that piriformis. Making sure your toes are towards your face and your knee. Remembering those big breaths.
Thanks, Dad.
We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and place your foot down. All right, we're gonna sit up, bring those feet together, place those hands on our ankles, take a big breath in, and a big breath out as you start to lean forward slightly, not collapsing over yourself at all. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out as you lean forward, really extending, as opposed to collapsing down. From here, as we want more, this is a butterfly stretch, so you're getting into those groins, those hips again. You can always press down on your inner thigh and your calf to get more of a stretch here. Your feet are as far away or as close to you as you can get them. Close to yourself as you can get them, excuse me. And knowing that all of our bodies are going to be different, so if what you're doing doesn't look like what I'm doing, that's totally fine. We're all coming from different backgrounds. Our bodies are all going to be very different in terms of the way that each individual body functions. So wherever you're at is totally fine. And knowing that if you want to be able to get somewhere, that taking those steps and being consistent and showing up for yourself and those goals will get you there eventually. Remembering to still breathe. You don't have to have these hands on those ankles or those inner thighs. You can just have them on your hands. And sometimes it helps if you take the flesh out from underneath your sits bones. It feels like you can get farther. It's easier to get farther forward. Again, taking a big breath in and a big breath out. Rolling through every vertebrae in your spine, sit on up, including your chin, knowing your head and your neck are still going to be part of that spine. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come onto our hips, step our right or left leg forward, whichever one you want to do first. Keep that ankle right underneath that knee. And then come so that you might want a towel if you're not like on a soft surface. Come onto the fleshy part of your knee so that you're not like on top, so that you're not on top of it. We're not aiming to be on top of it, we're aiming to be on the fleshy part of it. So already you're gonna feel a big stretch through the front hip here. And then sit up so that your shoulders are on top of your hips as well as you can get them. You can interlace your fingers and place them on top of your hip here, your quad here. Aiming to keep those hips square as well.
Another way Capital One is watching out for your money. You're not. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Limitations apply.
Remembering to breathe. Keeping that chest open and proud.
From finding the only pair of socks left without holes to panting heavily after 5 minutes of working out in front of your judging cat. That, my
Maybe
friends,
close your eyes
is
again.
The Zone. Spotify Premium lets
Taking
you
this
play all
moment
your
of
favorite
stillness to
songs and
really be
playlists
with
ad-free.
yourself
So there's nothing
and get to know your
separate
body.
Tap the banner to try 3 months of premium right now for $9.99.
Relaxing through those shoulders. We don't want our traps up here. So our upper traps are what keeps our ears towards our shoulders and in the shrugging position, and they are really easily stressed and they hold a lot of tension. So not letting our shoulders relax, not pressing them down so far that we're actively pressing down, but just keeping a nice, and maybe shake out your shoulders, feel a nice relaxation there. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Pressing yourself back so that you're on top of that hip and switching out your hips. So bringing that knee on underneath yourself and then coming forward onto the fleshy part. Again, making sure that your front ankle is underneath your front knee. And then sitting up, again, shoulders on top of hips. Taking those big breaths in and those big breaths out. Taking a moment for yourself. Letting whatever emotion you're feeling overcome you. And if you're not feeling great, then try to just let positivity overcome you. Everything will be okay. Another big inhale and another exhale. Pressing back onto that backward knee, coming back down onto the ground. Bring our legs long in front of us, toes flexed or pointed. A big inhale, reach those arms up high. Exhale, tilt on forward. Again, if you need to pull the flesh out from underneath your sits bones, that's fine. Another big inhale. And another big exhale as you reach forward. Again, not collapsing down, reaching forward. Thinking about your arms, making more of like an arc, like a rainbow. And if you can reach for your toes, then don't grab onto the actual toes themselves. Grab onto the middle of your foot or that ball of the foot, something a little bit more stable, because especially if your feet are flexed, your toes will come back with you. They're a little bit more mobile than the rest of your foot. So grabbing on for something a little bit more stable. Aiming for your nose to reach your knee. Just relaxing as much as you can. Regain those hamstrings and those glutes again a little bit more here more. We just did a lot of hip things that will affect the openness of our hips, so giving them a bit of a break. Relaxing and sinking forward, letting your body become one with the ground beneath you. One more inhale. And one more exhale. Rolling yourself up again through every vertebrae. Bringing your leg in front of you. You're bringing your knee directly in front of your hip, flexing through those toes again, and then bringing the other knee directly out to the side. So you're making a 90-degree angle with your legs. And then you're also making a 90-degree angle with your knees. So both of your knees are directly in front of your hips or to the side of that hip, and both of your ankles are flexed. Sitting up, leaning forward here, and then starting to lean forward. You can let your sit bones come off the floor, that opposite sit bone come off the floor. And this will get into your hips here as well. A big inhale and a big exhale. Now switching yourself out is easy. Just keep your heels where they are and let your knees come up and over to the other side. Let me just put myself back so you can see. Again, big breath in and exhale as you start to lean on forward. Again, you can let that upper sit bone come off the ground. Again, making sure that they should have been stayed right around where they were, but making sure that your knees are still in line with your hips at that 90 degree angle, that your feet are still flexed and your ankles are still in line with those knees. Big breath in and a big breath out. Sending yourself back on up. This one's gonna be good for your outer hips, but it's not gonna feel great, let me tell you that right now. So sitting on the up, making sure both of your sit bones are still on the ground. Place your knee, doesn't matter which one, directly in front of you. And then as close as you can get it to, place your other knee on top of that knee. Again, if your knee is out here, that's totally fine. And then you can pull back on those ankles to get your knees closer to being in line with each other, in line with each other, or getting those feet close back to each other. Again, this is great for your outer hips, doesn't necessarily feel great. We'll do another hip open after this, all right. So big breath in here. And if this is where you are at, take a breath out, then don't worry. But because this could be really intense right here, just sitting up tall. But if you need more, big breath in and start to lean forward. And another big breath in here. And then again, not collapsing, but coming up and over that knee. But again, if you're right here, that's totally fine. This is not necessarily gonna feel great, but it's great for your outer hips.
We are without. This small
A big breath in, a big breath out. Bring yourself back on up, bring your leg round, switching it out, so bringing your knee in front of you, and then bringing that other knee as close as you can get it to be on top of that bottom knee. Again, maybe pulling those feet back. Big breath in, and a big breath out as you either stay here or start to lean forward. Another big breath in, and a big breath out as you lean entirely forward if you are there, or if not, just keep sitting up. Now keep mentioning how this pose not necessarily might feel comfortable, but that's kind of what our goals are about, right? They're about being uncomfortable. So reaching for something new, getting ourselves to a place that we weren't before. So being uncomfortable is okay. We're here to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Relaxing your forehead, taking your tongue off the roof of your mouth. Slight bend those elbows, no matter where you're at. Another big breath in, and a big breath out. All right, now we can come out of this position. We're gonna come into a straddle. So again, if this is where if you're here, that's totally fine. I'm gonna come into whatever the straddle that's best for me. Again, keeping your toes flexed or pointed, but not relaxed. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna sit up tall. Again, if you need to take the flesh out from underneath your sits bones, go ahead. Big breath in. And come on forward as far as you can get yourself, making sure that you're keeping those knees towards the ceiling. If at any point, maybe not now, but in the future, if you want to keep opening up through those hips and you find that straddle works for you, something else that works is if you bring yourself up against a wall and you let your legs fall as far open as they can, and then you just stay there for a couple of minutes, really let gravity do the work, and it's a great way to open up through those hips. Again, that's not going to be for everybody. You don't have to try it right now, but that's always an option if you'd like to try it. Keep breathing. Big breath in, and a big breath out. Bring yourself up. And then we're gonna start to add our upper body into this a little bit. So bring our arms out long. Pick one arm, bring it up tall, and you can keep that other arm long, or start to make a curve underneath your torso. Big breath in. And as you exhale, lean over to one side. Remembering to keep those shoulders down away from your ears. And for me, it helps if I bring my hand to my shoulder. You can feel it for yourself, the difference between if you have those traps engaged or not here. Or again, we're trying not to have them engaged. You can keep your gaze up, you can keep it down, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And again, if you're here, that's totally fine. I'm pretty flexible, so don't base what you're doing off of me. Making sure you're keeping both sits bones on the ground here. Again, coming up and over, but not crunching your ribs in closer to your hip bone. Big breath in, and big breath out. Sitting yourself up tall, bringing that opposite arm up. Again, maybe feeling yourself to have that shoulder down away from your ear. And whatever works for you, having your hand on your ankle or doing that under curve with your arm. Big breath in. Big breath out as you lean towards the other side. Really feeling your side body getting a nice, long, juicy stretch. Getting into our obliques and that quadratus lumborum, which keeps our rib cage connected to our pelvis as part of our low back. Big breath in, and a big breath out. Sitting yourself up tall, bring your legs together, and then swing your legs around for one last stretch. Bring your toes together and knees apart, coming into a child's pose. This is a great way to open up through those hips and get into that back. Bring your forehead on the ground. If you want to feel more in your triceps, you can tense through those fingers. Reaching as far forward in front of you as you can, reaching for whatever goal you're trying to have throughout the rest of the day, whatever feeling you have now, you want to bring with you throughout the rest of the day. Aiming to get those sit bones on the heels, but if that doesn't happen right now, that's totally fine. It's wherever you're at.
We're still here to take your word. Even though a lot has changed, it's good to know some things haven't changed at all.
Letting go of all thoughts and breathing into yourself right here.
Your friends are over, the music is pumping, and requests are coming in fast. Then something hits you harder than a bass drum. It's tough to DJ with only shuffle play, but it's easy to take control with Spotify Premium. You can pick any song anytime you like. Ready to get the party started? Tap the banner to learn more.
Take a big breath in and a big breath out. You're welcome to stay here. If not, you can sit up. My name is Carly with StretchLab Glenview. That was your hip opener class. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, I'll be here for a few minutes. Otherwise, stay hydrated. Thank you for joining me today.